Sounds like it's time to go plant. You ready, girl? First time pulling a 70-footer. Though I did just get done pulling an 85-foot Mendako land roller. But this might be a little more challenging, so we'll see. Let's fire her up. And we're off. Let's go Series 2. See what you're made of. It's maker's done. It's go time. They're out farming and I'm in the shop, and there's a reason for that. And you're probably wondering, why do I have the spray trailer in here? Well, there is a very good reason for that. You probably haven't guessed, have you? Okay, fine, I'll give it away. This thing needs brakes, like bad, like very, very bad. And in order to change these brakes, you gotta take your whole hub assembly off to remove the drum, to remove the brake pads, which means you gotta take off your main nut and take off your hub, all the oil and all that good stuff, and it makes a mess. We did that earlier, so we could take the brake pads off, and they looked and looked and looked and looked, and they said, we cannot find any brake pads for your truck, or your trailer, I should say. So we sent these original ones off, and then they found a place and reshoot them, put new surface on them, and sent us back. Took about a week, wasn't too bad. And then for drums, because the other drums were pretty bad, like really bad grooves. Well, they looked and looked and looked, and they only could find 3 out of 4. So that being said, we're gonna take whatever drum on this trailer that's the best looking one. We're gonna take it and we'll see if we can clean it up and put it back on here, because we can't find a 4th one. So we just have to make use of it, and that's just how it is. But I do have new seals, and I've got new hardware for the whole setup. And that being said, I should probably start fixing this trailer so it's roadworthy, and for Nick to start spraying, because this is our spray trailer and he's gonna need it like soon. So anyways, let's get busy. Well, both tractors are running, and tractors, not tractors. Anyways, they're running out in the fields, which is good, but they're gonna need some fertilizer. So, let's go get some white gold. Sorry. It's one of those mornings I just need more coffee, like always. But anyways, let's just see how much is in the back. Oh, we're basically empty. Okay. So let's take, last trip I got 14 ton. It was a little much. I'll try 13 ton this time. That way we don't really stress this old Ford. I think it's a 74. So 1974 is when this thing was made. The other one, the green one, is a 76. Yeah, still working. They're still doing their job. They've hauled, oh man, the amount of bushels they've hauled in their lifetime. It's a lot. It's a lot of bushels. But anyways, let's head down to the fertilizer plant and get some white gold. In this facility, what they've got going on is they've got different, like, I guess you could say, bays. So if you look in this bay, it's full of a certain product. Well, in the other bay, there's other product. And if you want a different blend for your fertilizer, you can say, like, I want 1152, or, you know, different numbers. You can just say, like, this is what I want. And they'll go in with a loader, and it's got scales on the loader, scoop out a certain amount, dump it in the pit, and then they'll scoop out some other over here and dump it in the pit. And then it'll blend it all together, and they got a big bin above your truck so that way you can mix it all together. But we're not doing a blend, we're just getting straight urea. So as you can tell, he's just grabbing straight urea, putting it in the pit, and then he'll dump it in there. It'll go up above my truck, he'll weigh it, and away you go. Pretty sweet, it really is. But man, that stuff is corrosive to steel. It just loves to eat anything that's steel. That's why this building is basically made out of concrete and wood.
This here's barley that we didn't harvest because it got hailed and drowned out terribly. There was nothing there. So we're just seeding direct into it. It's working really good. Not much problem. Just finished up the worst field ever with crossing power lines and uneven headlands and many draws and coulees. It's great, it's fun. But we're done. So now we're in this one, which has a little bit of that stuff.
Okay, I'm in the 600, still seeding spring wheat. Probably have, depending on the weather, my little front coming through tonight. But we probably have about 3 days left of seeding the wheat. Then we'll move on to the barley. And talking about barley, I'm actually on last year's barley that got hailed. And this one here, they pretty much wrote it off. It got hammered fairly well. I'm gonna get ready here to do a corner to go back across. As you can see, that's Interstate 15 that goes north to south. It starts in California and comes all the way up here and goes right on into middle of Canada, east of the Rocky Mountains. So we have this little piece of land that's right on the east side of the interstate. We also have some on the west side, and we'll be going over there in a couple days, finish up our spring wheat seeding, and then we'll move on. But anyway, we're just about finished. I've got this strip here. As you can see, the hail barley, a few heads on them. Some of those are stripped. But yeah, it got hammered.
Well, here's hoping for a big day. Got some done yesterday. I think I got 300 acres done yesterday. It's not a big day. But we were hoping that these two drills could get about 400 to 500 acres a day per drill. So that 800 to 1,000 acres. But I mean, that's pushing like dark to dark and no hiccups and everything's running just peachy fine. And it wasn't, so. But we are rolling and I think I'm gonna have a big day. So, heading up north. She's all topped off seed fertilizer fuel. I'm topped off for breakfast. And I'm ready to roll. Let's go!
Okay, well I'm here seeding some land that's north, probably about 5 miles or so. It is lease ground, but I'm just gonna give you a little special little touch on this landscape. It's relatively flat here, as you can see, except there is a slight, very slight elevation drop drainage that flows through this area. It's very flat though, but it's just a little bit. Well, back when they needed water, you know, there's no water around here. So back in probably the 40s, this one here 50s is probably when this one was built. He probably had it fenced and had a few cows. Well, anyway, they dug what they call pit reservoirs, as you can see here. And when all the other reservoirs around that have pretty good drainages finally dry up, these stay at least some level of water in them. And that's what's unique about them, because it doesn't soak into the ground, because underneath here is a very tight clay. In fact, that's why, as you see over here, that looks like snow. That's the topsoil is shallow down. And that's the old seabed salts that flow, finally evaporate up in these low drainages, and that's what we call alkali, and nothing grows there. But in here, it keeps this somewhat hydrated. It provides a place in that you can't see it right now, but there were some ducks and geese in here. And when you look across this whole area, you're going, ducks and geese in this area? They actually nest here. They found this place to be somewhat safe to raise their chicks, goslings. So there was two, a mated pair was just here. He just went over the dam. But it's just a little bit of history of what they tried to do to try to get water so they could have animals. There's another pit reservoir over there in the next field that's just like this. There goes some ducks. They don't like me being here. And I didn't have to duck. They were farther away.
It has been almost a week since I first started these drums on this trailer. The one side's done. Brakes and drums and seal and oil, or grease I should say, it's all on that side. It's good, tires are on. This side, well, I need to touch it. Yeah, so you're probably wondering, why is it taking me so long to finish this up? Well, let me just tell you. There's a few guys out there that are calling me like, hey, I've lost a point in my air drill. Hey, I've got a plugged run on my manifold. Hey, I've got a flat tire. Anyways, because they keep calling me, I haven't had a chance to work on this thing, and I haven't had opportunity to finish it out. And then I get back here and I start doing a few things, then I'm just about ready to touch it, and then they call me. So they're not calling me yet, and I'm saying that now. Hopefully they don't call me, because this needs to be fixed, because Nick needs to start spraying once we get wrapped up on a few acres of seeding. So that being said, let me find motivation. Let's fix those drums and brakes and get this trailer out of here, because I think it needs to be out of here.
Just about ran out of fertilizer, so it's time to fill up. I'm almost out of seed as well, so I might as well do both. Let's do a solo fill. It is nice seeing the cameras here. If you look closely, you can tell that, not that one, this one. See how there's fertilizer on one side? That's because we converted this over from a 8 run to a 7 run, which means there's one less run on one half of the tank that's pulling product out, so that means that side empties slower, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just something you notice. All right, let's go fill it. There we go. All right. I'll give Light Arms a call, tell him we need a truck full of seeds. So he'll have to run up here, grab the truck, go fill it up, bring it back. We're gonna be up in this area for the next day or two. There's about 700 acres left to do in this area, so we wrap all this up. Done. Well, done with spring wheat. Then we got barley to do. And that's what I like to see. Wheat, fertilizer. Back camera. So I've had a solution, I think, to my overheating problems. This Easy Pilot steering wheel obviously was never designed for a big bud. Now it's designed to be a one-size-fits-all, which makes sense. But because the steering pump on this tractor failed, in the middle of the process of the techs trying to set it up, they never had a chance to finish it. And we didn't get the new steering pump, hand pump, what do you want to call it, steering sector, for like 8 months, because of all the crazy supply issues. So by the time we got it, it was too late for them to come out and finish calibrating this tractor, so we had to do it ourselves. And I don't think I've done a very good job. I mean, it's tracking a nice line, but it's overheating, it gets hot. And there's no preset in here for a big bud. So I'm running like an AGCO front steering non-articulated tractor for the preset here, because that's the best thing I can find that this thing steers well with. With that said, this is getting hot, and when it gets hot, it kicks off. I just be going also my house there, kick off. It won't say like movement detected, it just drops. And I notice it only does it later in the day when things are hot. First part of the day, no problem. So with all that said, I've got my lunch box and a piece of paper and my sweatshirt to direct the air from the AC vent to blow right into the Easy Steer. And that way, it'll hopefully stay a little cooler and hopefully it won't kick off as bad. So far it's working. No duct tape even used there, no duct tape. Now all that there, I mentioned earlier, we had some problems with the harness. Again, nothing was ever able to be finalized. It was never fully tested because I never got the chance to. It was just basically roughly installed. Well, that's all spewed out like that because we tore it all apart trying to find our problem. Oh, see, it just kicked off. Yeah, I think someone touched the steering wheel and no one did. Too far. Ah. Come on. There we go. Okay, it grabbed. So it's working again. Could kick off any moment now. Again, no fault to anybody. It wasn't like anybody dropped the ball or there was incompetence or anything. It was just circumstances worked out this way. The incompetence would be ourselves not being trained on how to install one of these. So I'm sure there's some videos out there. I just didn't have time to watch them. So we're moving. But when the time comes, we will get this finalized. We'll get a new harness in here that doesn't have the problem that this one does. We'll get it all tucked away, real nice and neat down in the corner. And this will all be figured out so it won't be overheating. And we'll be working that much more efficiently. Well, we're gonna call it an early night tonight. I'd like to just keep going for a while, but I'm pretty far from the trucks. And by the time they get them here, it's gonna be dark and the fill. And this terrain that I'm on is not the most forgiving. It's not a big square, or it's well, it's shaped very weird. So with that said, it's better to seed this in the daytime. And I've got some things I need to do to this. So I gotta go back to the farmyard. So Leg Arms is on the way over here to pick me up. I just cool her down. We'll pick this up tomorrow. But we're just about done with spring wheat. Real close. It's gonna be good. And then we'll start doing barley. This is barley stubble. We're seeding spring wheat into it. It's part of the rotation we're doing. We're not gonna seed wheat into wheat. That's one thing you don't do, or you shouldn't do, is seed the same crop in the same spot back to back. It gives an opportunity for bad things to happen, like disease. So we don't want disease in our plants. We want our plants to be healthy. So it's good to put a break in. And plus, each plant pulls different nutrients out of the ground. So by changing the plant rotation up, you don't pull the same nutrients out every single time and deplete that from the ground. Now, barley is really similar to wheat. So yeah, it pulls very similar nutrients out of the ground. But its disease properties are better than, wheat. So with that said, going home.